Hey, Joe.
Hey, hello.
How you doing?
Trying to clear the screen using my T-shirt.
No, no worries.
Unanisikia po?
Okay, poa.
Niongeze.
What about the minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I see two folks live on YouTube.
All right.
But I noticed that most guys join on LinkedIn, so it looks like LinkedIn is our tribe. Like, let me see if Enoch is there.
Yeah.
We are good.
Our tribe. The tribe guy.
Let me see.
Today I'm using I have uploaded some slides for studio. I hope we can use that.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. So nice. So
never used it in the studio though. So, but hizi vitu borake iko na buttons lazima itawa.
Oh, okay. You're doing from
slides. I have some slides.
Google Slides or
no PowerPoint.
What are you using? PPT. Oh yeah, PPT. So you're sharing your screen, right? One of your screens.
Yeah, I've uploaded them within the studio. They have told me that I can use Google Slides. Yeah, it's within the studio itself.
Oh, okay, good. No worries. That's okay. And then can you tilt your camera a little bit to?
All right. Niambie ni wapi po?
Yep. Yeah. No, a little bit.
A little bit.
Kidogo.
There.
Yeah, that's good.
Kama nimeenda sana.
Ama utakuwa karibu na. Okay, I think that's okay. Let me add you.
Not really, but you tell me.
Okay, great. Okay, try and run the slides and see. Nice. So good.
So you within the nini. What about using it outside the?
Which is
better? Sharing the screen.
No, this is good.
This is better.
Yeah, that's okay. It's better actually.
Lakini nitataka ikuwe full. Let me see. Yeah, it's nice. It's okay.
It's good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, welcome, folks. If you're watching this live or you're watching after the fact, yeah, just say welcome. I hope you're gonna have a good time. So last time we had part 1 of the Clean Coder. Today I'm happy to introduce again John back on stage to take us through part 2. And as I told him before the call, like, just take your time. You don't need to rush through this. Most likely you're gonna have a part 3, right, John?
Yeah.
The final installment. final. Last.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I will hand it over to you. For those who don't know about John, you can check the introduction that I did in the first version, but he's a software engineer. And he took us through part 1 of this. It was really wonderful. I learned a lot. So today, actually, I've also carried my pen and paper. I told you I haven't read the Clean Coder, by the way. So I'm just coming as a student, so listening in. So take it away, John, and welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for the wonderful intro, Prof. Nandaa. He has a Bible and a pen. I hope the listeners also have some pen. So we are going straight to the book. My name is John Muchiri, and let's take it away. So the book is The Clean Coder by Robert C. Martin, who has been in the industry for quite some time. He's a professional coder for over 40 years. So that means that he has been in the industry more than even some of us we have existed in this world. So, so it's a wonderful thing to learn from one of the best people. And why you should actually take a book and read is that you get to learn one. It's like a one-to-one mentorship with someone who you cannot reach face to face. So taking a book to read, it's worth your money. It's worth it, and you can do it with a PDF. So that's why it's a great deal to really take books. So why the book? I covered this last time. I took up this book so that I can become a professional developer or rather engineer, because the book is going to tell you why become a software professional. How does a professional behave? How does a professional deal with conflicts, tight schedules, pressure, and reasonable managers? So, and when and how should a professional say no? And how does a professional deal with pressure? I talked about this. Last time, just a recap of what we did last time. We talked about professionalism within the industry, software industry. So one thing we said is do no harm as a professional. Don't create buggy software, or rather software which has a lot of bugs. And as you mature in the professional, you are going to develop softwares which are more and more less buggy, less bugs. So, and something else we learned, that don't use QA as to find bugs. Don't use people to test your bugs. So test your software using the approach, test development approach. Write your test as you write the software. And then you must know that the software is working by testing. We say there is no shortcut. You have to write test. So to the guys who are in startups, kindly, we should learn how to really write tests. Then we said do no harm to the structure. When you're writing code, it means that you're building on top of a structure which is already there. Let's say, all right, most of the startups you find you're building a software from scratch, but when you get, or rather you join a new team, you're going to find that there's already a software existing. So you're not supposed to create any harm to the structure. You're supposed just to come and in a good way interlink with whatever is working there. Then we talked about work ethic. As a software professional, you should have a good or rather a solid work ethic, where you give 40 hours to the employer and you have 20 hours for your learning, your research. Within a week, you have 168 hours. So you have 40 hours for the employer, 20 for you. Then you have about 46 to sleep and 52 to do everything else. If you love hiking or doing the stuff, you have time. So, but give 40 hours to the employer. And then know your field. Nothing should escape you. Like you don't know CI/CD, ask yourself, why don't I know this? What is microservices? Go there. What is components in React, in what? Just know your field. Continuously learn every day. You have no excuse for this. Set time for that. Then practice. Get mentored. If you don't have a mentor, reach out to people who you can mentor you. And know your domain. If at all you're a software engineer within a hospital setting, know how medical setup work. If at all you're in a company setup where there is an industry, you're making cement and what, know your field, know your domain, and also know your techno. So you come in as a profession to help. IT mostly we interlink between industries. So you're going to work either in medical, in hospitals, in commercial industry and what. So you have to know the domain that you are in. And then you remain humble. Yeah, that was the last point that even Adai is taking notes. So he's humble, but I'm learning from him, you see. So an art of remaining humble. So we go straight to our session today. That was a recap. So I hope you had missed last time. That is what we discussed last time. So today we are discussing about 3 major things. Number 1 is saying no, and then saying yes, and then the aspect of coding. So when are you supposed to say no? Most of the time we have requests, do this, there's a new software. So as a professional, you should learn how to say no and how to say yes and how to say this yes. And also the beauty of it, you're going to discuss how to code. Rather, how do you code? So how and why to say no. This is the first thing. So you're going to cover this first. So professionals speak truth to power. Professionals have the courage to say no to their managers. How do you say no to your boss? Yeah, that is the question. After all, it's your boss. Are you not supposed to say yes to your boss? Eh? But as a professional, you're supposed to say no sometime. So you see, there's a picture here. This person is a digital slave. Do you want to become a slave? So you have to learn to say no. Let's go and learn how to say no. So slaves are not allowed to say no. Laborers may be hesitant to say no, but professionals are expected to say no. So I'm teaching you today to say no. Indeed, good managers crave someone who has the guts to say no. It is the only way you can really get anything done. If at all you find a good manager, he's really yearning for you to say no. You're going to discover why. Because let's just picture this out. You're playing the adversarial roles. Managers are people who really know how to do their jobs, and most managers know really how to do their job. They do it well, and part of their job is to defend of whatever they stand for. They have to be aggressive so that they can achieve. If at all they are leading a team to do a certain project, they have to be aggressive. But the other side, also programmers or other software engineers are people who know how to do their job also. And also, we also do it well because, we are professionals. But now we have to defend also our objective and aggressively seek our stand on some roles. So there's a quote here by Yoda: do or do not. There's no try. So why are we saying that sometimes you have to say no? An example is you have a manager who will come and tell you, we need the login page to work tomorrow. And for you, going to work tomorrow, login page is not just the aspect of just logging into a system. You have the bit of JWT. You have to consider security. How are you going to create that user or what? So then, if at all you are lazy, or rather you're not a professional developer, you're going to tell the manager, yes, okay, I will try. I will try tomorrow. Yeah, it will be there. I will try. But that is not possible because there are so many things which are interlinked between to make that login screen work. So the best thing is to say no, that is not possible, because you have to explain to the manager, because 1, 2, and 3, you have to ensure that the backend, or rather you have the backend which is going to ensure maybe you have creation of users, you have the accounts. Then you have the user is going to use maybe the JWT to have a token to verify them to be. So you have to explain. You have to say no, and now you have to defend your cause, so that you guys together. This is the beauty of it. Managers know how to do your job, and you know how to do your job. So every time you're seeking, the trick is to find the middle ground, or rather to negotiate the middle ground, to know that it's a win-win. Like, we are going to do this. log in, we can do this. We are going to set up the backend. This is going to happen. It can take me about maybe 4 days or so, or 3 days or 2 days or so. And then the manager is going to agree. You find a middle ground and you agree. But now as a professional, we saw that if at all you're not a professional, you're going to say, okay, I will try. And tomorrow we'll be there and the login screen is not there. And they are going to say, you're not a professional. So that's why it's important to say no. Yeah, you're getting. All right. When is it so important to say no? When the stakes are high. This is the most important time to say no. Remember last time we talked about the Challenger? We saw that the accident which occurred within 73 seconds was just because the engineers, they had said that the spaceship was not ready to take the flight, but the managers pushed. If at all engineers had said, no, we are not going to launch this, then this is the best point. When stakes are high, you're supposed to say no. When you have a big project, you have a big customer, and the project, the manager is insisting that you have to develop this project by next week. You have to say no, because at high stakes, you're going to lose money, you're going to lose the client, and at the end of it all, you're going to make your company to be in a very bad picture. So you have to say no when the stakes are high. These are the 7 people who died, and one of them was a teacher. So yeah, sometimes it can cost even lives. But I know it cannot be so extreme. But if you are making sensitive software system, maybe in C which are being used in hospital also, so you have to be very strict. So when stakes are high, yeah, you have to say no. So that is what you're going to talk also, being a team player. How can you say no when you are? How do you become a team player? Or rather, you see, a team is together, everyone achieves more. I know, when you work alone, you're going to just, they say when you want to go far, when you want to go faster, go alone. And when you want to go very far, go with the team. So how do we become a team player? So a team player, you have to communicate frequently and keep an eye out for the teammates. And also make sure that everything, people are executing their responsibilities very well. So a team player is not someone who will say yes all the time. You have to say no, but I'm going to teach you how to say no. And one thing of how to escape the tragedy of saying yes is by saying I will try. Why is it saying that I will try so dangerous? You can see this guy is trying in the woods. So it's okay. You can see the whole family is confused. Maybe the dad said, I'm going to try you guys to go to the woods, and they are suffering there. So how is it dangerous to say I will try? So the promise to try is an admission that you have been holding back, that you have a reserve of extra effort that you can apply. So you're telling the team that I will try. You have not been working. You have some other, you have been performing at 70%. So you're going to unleash the other 30%. So therefore, it means that you're promising to succeed by saying you're going to try. This puts you on the burden. You're on the line. So if at all you're trying in quotes, because you said you're going to try, does not lead to desired outcome, you will have failed, or you become a failure. That is the danger of saying I will try. So I hope you're learning. So what is the cost of saying yes? Yeah? Yes. I know there is a yes theory. If at all you have ever watched those guys on YouTube, the yes theory. But now we are learning to say no. So most of the time we want to say yes, and indeed it is healthy. Healthy teams strive to find a way to say yes. So I'm not saying that you become the toxic team, which is just saying no, but you have to find the sweetest point of how to say yes. You can say yes without saying yes. You can say yes by stating your facts, that we are going to make this software a period of 3 months. Why? Because of X, Y, and Z. like this. So when a manager comes in and say that this software can be made in a week, you have to come and say no, but you have to have that direct correlation, or why are you stating those factors. So you have to have a mutual, they have to, so this is the beauty of it. Manager and developers will find in well-run teams will negotiate with each other until they come to a mutual agreed upon plan of action. So, but as we have seen before, sometimes the only way to get the right yes is to be unafraid to say no. So sometimes you have to say no so that you can get the right yes. So we continue. I can see Nandaa is not there, but let's continue. So we have resort, rush to complete, slow to market. I know this is something which has, if at all you have worked in the software field for quite some time, sometimes we are so rush to complete a project, but now it takes more time for it to get to the market. Why? Because sometimes maybe you overlook some things, the code is buggy, and when it goes to production or when it goes to the market, then there's back and forth every time because we were rushed to make these decisions. So yeah, and definitely many people have known how to make us work quickly. Yeah, whether external or internal, yes. Sometimes we work very quickly, but have they found us to work efficiently? That is the question. No. Quickly, yes, but efficient, no. And this is how it works. I really hope that you guys are still there. Yes, I hope Nandaa will join us soon. So let's continue. So
Yes, sorry, I couldn't chat you to tell you I'm just speaking something here.
oh,
But
it's
as
okay.
I've been listening, yeah, I've just been behind so I just had to leave the stage a little bit. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Let's continue. So how it works is, this is how it works. Yeah, rush to complete but slow to market. Number one, people have known, or rather the organization, or rather the external or internal, they have known how to tell the developer that the app is simple. When you're told the app is very simple, the application is very simple, it's going to create an illusion within your frame of mind that this is simple, so I know you're going to deliver within a very short time. But behind the scenes, that app is going to be added more features. So after they have said it's simple, then you find, okay, can we have this feature? And sometimes they say it innocently, but some of the features being added, they are more complex. It might be simple to the user, but the tech behind, or rather the technical aspect of that feature, might be very hard. And then how it goes on is they push the deadline over and over. Because we never met this time, you're going to push it over to the next time. So this is what I'm saying. We have to learn how to say no, because we may be rushed to complete, but slow to the market. You're very rushed to complete a project, but you're going to be slow to the market. So I've talked so much about saying no. So let's go to the other aspects. When do we say yes? The yes theory team, you're here. You're back. So it is good to say yes, but how do you say yes? When and how do you say yes? These are simple three things that when you say yes, you have to say whatever you say, you have to mean it and you have to do it. There are three parts of making a commitment. You have to say, I will do it. And then deep down, you mean it. And then you actually do it. So if at all you say that I'm going to do it and then you don't do it, then more harm than the person who said that I won't do it. That it has even some scriptural reference. There's some people who are invited somewhere and they said, I will come. And then the person who said, no, I won't come is the one who came. So and he was more blessed than the other person. So this is deeper. So when you say, I'm going to do it, then you mean it and you actually do it. And how do you do this? Ever heard of someone who said, man, this is a new year. I really need to lose some weight. I think we have We must have some of our friends who have said so. And you know that they are not going to do anything about it. Why is that so? Why is it direct that someone can say that I'm going to lose weight and then that they are not really going to know? It's because their language of commitment is different. This is how you know. This is how you recognize lack of commitment when people speak, or rather, when you're not a professional engineer. You're going to say, "We need to get this done." You see, you're saying we need. You're not saying there's no somewhere that there's a commitment there. You're not saying that I need to do X, Y, and Z. I need to lose weight. Someone should make this happen. If I try to see someone in a team saying someone should make this happen, just know there's no commitment. There's no commitment. There's no a factual space of someone saying that he's going to do something. Something else that you are going to recognize lack of commitment is when you find words like hope, I wish, hope and wish. I hope this is done by tomorrow. I hope this will be done by tomorrow. Yeah? The boss is telling you, make sure that this is working tomorrow. I hope, I hope, I wish, I hope this will work tomorrow. Just know when you hear hope, definitely tomorrow it will be the same. I wish I had time for that. Then let's not followed by S. But now this is a language of lack of commitment. Let's go to a language of commitment. Yeah, commitment. Talking about professional engineers, they know how to commit. They know how to commit. That was the fun. Let's continue. So, what does commitment sound like? This is how commitment sound like. I will XX by X. Example, I will finish this by Tuesday. There's an exact commitment there because it's I. You're not saying I wish someone is going to do. So there's a responsibility that this I am going to finish. So there's a commitment that it's I who is going to do this by Tuesday. Rather, I will do this in 2 weeks. I will finish this by Tuesday. So there's an exact factual space. This is how you can say yes. Actually, I'm teaching you how to say yes. Saying yes is not saying I will do this by tomorrow. No, I will finish this by Tuesday. That is saying yes. It wouldn't. Sometimes you can say yes, but things will not work. Yeah. Why? There sometimes maybe you're making a software when you're relying on another team. Yeah, maybe you're working on the front end team, and then there's a back end team. You're expecting the APIs to come in. How can you commit when you're relying on someone else? This is how you can commit. You cannot commit to things that you don't have full control of. So if at all you don't have full control of the backend, or rather the APIs, this is how you can commit. You can say, I'm going to sit down with Nandaa from infrastructure team to understand the dependencies. So that is a commitment because you have said you're going to sit down with the team. You're going to sit down with the backend team to know when these APIs are going to be ready. And then you're going to rather integrate them with the front end, or rather, that is just an example. You're going to meet with John, to make sure that it changes well. Maybe I'm the person within the DevOps team. I'm deploying. So they are going to sit with me so that they can ensure that the deployment is good. You see, these things are out of your control, but you're giving commitment by giving factual things that you're going to do X and Y, you're going to meet with the team, you're going to do X, and that is a language of saying yes. So, but now, I know we know this law. It's called Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Sometimes you can really plan, but things go wrong. So how do you say yes? You had said yes before, but now things are going the other way. So if this happens, you had arranged some time. You had arranged a meeting with Nandaa, with also the team, with also the tribe that you're going to present the book here. But now something happens. Maybe you're you experience an accident, or maybe let's not say accident. Let's say the power goes off. God forbid it doesn't go off now. So how do you say this? You have to communicate. You have to say the changes. You have to say, as soon as that you realize that that thing is going to happen, or rather, I'm not going to make it to a meeting that maybe you are meeting someone in a cafe, or rather a meeting. You have to say before, I'm going to be late. Heads up, I'll be 20 minutes late, but I'm coming. Not coming 20 minutes later, then you are just there sitting and saying, "Yes, I'm very sorry. I never made it." So there's a way you can, if something goes wrong, communicate fast. And then raise a red flag as soon as possible when you know things are going to be wrong. Like you're working on a project which is going to take 3 months. And then you realize, well, we are going to need around 5 months to complete this project. When you're in month 2, kindly communicate, raise the red flag, and give the reasons why. So that don't come to give reasons when now the 3 months are over. Then you say, we are not going to deliver this because X and Y and Z, something happened, server failed, we have not paid. Yeah, you have to find a way to explain. Talked about this. So, creating a language of commitment may sound a bit scary, but it can help solve many of the communication problems programmers face today. Estimation, deadlines, face-to-face communication mishaps. That is what we talked about. You'll be taken serious, a developer who lives up to their word, and that's the one of the best things that you can hope for in our industry. When you're taken seriously, when people know that when you say that you're going to make these things done, definitely they are done. Yeah. And that gives another session of, you have to define done. Yeah, you're not just supposed to say things are done and they are working your local machine. When you say things are done, it means things are live, not within your local machine. I saw another meme, manager asking, is the customer going to use your local machine? So you have to define your done. So professionals are not required to say yes to everything that is asked for them. However, they should work hand in hand to find creative way to make yes possible. When professionals say yes, they use language of commitment so that there is no doubt about what they have promised. We saw about the language of commitment. I'll do this by Tuesday. I'll do this. I will sit with Nandaa to check on the dependencies. That is the language of commitment. That's how you say yes. Now we go to the last part, which is the sweet part of it. We talked about saying no, saying yes. Now it's coding. How do we code? I know. This is what really, this is the beauty of it, the coding bit of it. So how do you code as a professional? So why is coding so hard? This is a definition, just a definition. Coding is an intellectual, challenging, exhausting activity. It requires a level of concentration and focus that few other disciplines require. The reason for this is that coding requires you to juggle many competing factors at once. This is why coding is hard, because you have to keep the context. Maybe you're coding your certain. That's why coding is hard compared to other fields. I'm not going to compare with any. Maybe someone is listening from that field. But that's why, because you have to juggle around many aspects together. Number one of the first thing is you have to make your code must work. This is why sometimes it's hard. But why? You must understand what problem you're solving and understand how that problem is solved. You must ensure that the code you write is a faithful representation of the solution. So we are going to look at 4 major things why coding you have to juggle around many things. Number one, your code must work. Number two, your code must solve the problem set by your customer. Sometimes you can code something and then the customer is there, you have not solved whatever I needed. So you have to meet the customer's requirements, or rather the end user. Maybe you're making the app for musicians. It has to meet those end users. like whatever they require. And this is where the BT, there's a blur. Sometimes developers will move very fast to code things up, and we don't put consideration the end user. We are very happy with we have microservices, we have things, we have load balance, everything is working okay, but maybe you have not solved Mama Boga's problem. You're just there, you have presented a very sophisticated system which is not solving the customer's need. So you have to know whether you're solving the problem. Your code must fit well into the existing system. We talked about this. You don't harm the structure, or rather don't harm the structure. It has to be flexible. So this is why it's hard, because if at all a certain module was working up, you have to find a smooth way to make sure your code fits into the system, just very comfortably and flexible in a way that and you have to make sure you follow the solid principle, yeah, like the dry, don't repeat yourself, don't, yeah. So exactly. And number 4, your code must be readable by other programmers, yeah. I know many people write some code, even themselves. After a couple of days, they don't remember who wrote this code. What's happening here? Only God knows. So you have to write readable code in a way that it has to. You have to get the intent of the code, and getting the intent, that is the hardest part. Like, someone can read your code and get, this is what you intended to do, this is what the function is intended to do, this is the integration with the other bits of content. This is very hard to do, and this must be, yeah, that might be one of the most hardest thing. Like, if I can read Nanda's code and know the intent without him telling me, like, this code is doing this. Yeah. So you have to put all those 4 factors together. Like we talked about, number 1, your code must work, your code must solve the problem of the customer, and then it must fit together with the existing system, and then your code must be readable by other programmers. So juggling all these concepts, or rather this concern, is hard. And now we have just talked about the bit of the coding bit of it. We have not talked about programmers. They are also people. We are also human beings. So you have other things. You have emotions. You have family. Yeah? You have kids. You have schools. You have sisters. You have brothers. All these things, all these cares of life and what. So they come in together. So that's why you have to find a suitable spot that you're not distracted. Because when you're coding, you don't want to be distracted by the cares of life, about death, about maybe Tala is texting you there, John, don't let small deaths. And you're coding, you're not going to code well. So you have to deal with these things of life. So when you cannot concentrate and focus efficiently, the code you write will be wrong. Yeah. So it will have bugs, it will have wrong structure, it will become opaque and very confused, a spaghetti code. It will not solve the customer real problems. In short, it will have to be reworked and redone. Working while distracted creates waste. It's better you don't work, or rather write code when you're distracted, because it's going to create a lot of waste. There's the 3 a.m. code. There are guys who love writing code, like eat, sleep, code. And then maybe you do it for over a long period of time, like 17 hours within 24 hours period of time. So at some point, your 3 a.m. code, you're going to really feel that you're very productive. But writing code when you're tired, it is going to create a lot of messy things. So I had written here, dedication and professionalism are more about discipline than hours. It's not about hours. It's not about you're working 24 hours or you're working 48 hours down there. There are some people who only work for 3 hours or 5 hours or so, and they're productive and write good code, which is not buggy. And then you write a code for 19 hours, it's going to break things within the production. You're going to fail. You're going to hide yourself. The DB is broken because you wrote this code at 3 a.m. in the morning when people are sleeping. I know some people write code well in the morning. I'm not going to, but I'm just talking about you should not write code when you are tired. Yeah. Worry code. I talked about this. Don't write code when you're worried, or rather when you are distracted. Don't write code when you're heartbroken. But when you're worried, you cannot maintain focus. Your concentration wavers. You find yourself with your eyes on the screen. You find yourself seated there on the screen, your fingers on the keyboard, and you're doing nothing. You're just watching. You're just trying to make things work, but they're not working. So, worry code. When you're worried, don't write, or rather, it's not the best time to write code. So, instead of coding, you need to resolve the worry. If at all it's things to do with death, things to do with family, you have to create time, maybe 1 hour. Speak with your loved one, call them, solve everything out, and then you go back to coding. Don't go to coding when you have all these things which are bugging your head. You're not going to write some good code. Ideally, the time spent when wrestling the personal issues would be a personal time. So we don't expect you to really wrestle with these issues at work. Say the manager is there and you're telling him, hey, I have some personal issue. Let me solve. Then you take a whole day off. So ideally for a professional, you have to set time aside to really settle your anxiety so that you don't bring them at the office. So some personal things, just leave them at home. Leave family at home. But now I know this is going to be, it can be debatable because some people say that your colleagues must know, like you have to be like friends in a way. Okay, be colleagues, but don't just go there bringing your whole personal issues when you're working. So as a professional, make sure that you solve your issues. This is another thing. This is called the flow zone. Many people call it the zone. When you're tapped out with someone, you don't want even to talk to them. You know what? Bro, I'm coding. So, this is actually the zone. When I started coding, this was the best time. Like, it's just feeling like you're a superpower. Like, you're just writing code. You're feeling like you're working in NASA there. You're working for... But now, it doesn't mean that every time that you're in the zone, you're writing some code which is good. You can be in the zone. Yes, the zone means that you're going to be working. It is a state, or rather, this is a definition. It is a state of where you feel productive, in a state where you feel infallible, so that you desire to be in that state. Yeah? You're in a tunnel. But why is it dangerous to be in this zone? We are going to look at the positive sides of the zone and also the negative side of it. So, avoid the zone. Why? Because this is a state of consciousness. It's not really hyper-productive and is certainly not infallible. It's really just a mild meditative state in which a certain rational faculty are diminished in favor of the sense of speed. So you have speed. Yes, you have speed when you're coding. You're in the zone. The problem is that when you lose some of the big picture when you're in the zone. So you lose some of the big picture. Like you're maybe making you're concentrating on maybe, let's say, a function, or rather you're making a module of some certain jobs you're applying, or rather you lose the picture, the whole picture of the whole system. Like, yeah. So code written in the zone may come out faster, but you'll be going back to visit it more. So you're going to go back and visit more. Like I wrote this thing, I don't know it cannot be integrated with the other module. So because you wrote it very fast, you wrote even some things which were not supposed to be written, then you have to revisit back to make sure that I edit it back to where it was supposed to be. So it's a problem to be in the zone because you lose the big picture of it. So one of the big benefits of pair programming is that it is virtually impossible to be in the zone when you're pair programming. So when you're coding with someone, you cannot get in the zone. And one of the complaints people are going to complain is that when you're in a pair, when you're programming, the other thing Nandaa talked about last time is mob programming. You cannot get into the zone when you're in a mob. So and that is it. We don't want you to be in the zone because you're going to lose the big picture. I guess it's a myth because when I was coding like 2 years ago, I felt that when I'm in the zone, I'm writing the right code. But now I'm coming to realize it's not a must that when you're in the zone, you're writing the right code. You can be writing something like you're losing the big picture of it, yeah. So, but when do you need the zone? Yeah, sometimes you really need this zone. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be there. Like, yeah. So you need the zone when you're practicing. Yeah? When you're doing your kata, when you're doing your lead code, when you're learning something like personal, you're doing your own projects, personal stuff, you're learning something, you can be in the zone. That is not a bad thing. But when you are writing something that is affecting or rather integrating with other big pictures, then that's when you don't need the zone. But when you're practicing, you really need this zone. When you're interviewing, but yeah, that can be debatable because when you're interviewing, it's more of you're communicating with other people. So you need also to be there. It's more like a pair programming. So you're not going to enter the zone. So, but you really need, when you're practicing, when you're working on a personal projects or so, you need this zone so that you can, yeah. I'm going to talk about music. I know it's an illusion that every programmer you see there must wear a headphone and you're listening to music there. Like right now, you're listening to some beats. I can hear the volume. He has just tuned up the volume. What about music? So the writer is saying that he raised that simply coding when listening to music does not help him focus. Indeed, he said something about sometimes he was coding and listening to music, and then when he went back to some of the comments, he had written some lyrics, or rather the words of that song. So you're listening to some cool music. You're going to write some functions there. You're going to name them the title of the music. So because music, actually, I was learning this. Music, something that when you're listening is going to involve some of your resources, your mind. Like you have some parties listening to this music and you're coding. So in order to write clean code, sometimes you have to avoid that. Once that music which is so catchy, you know all the words, you're going to listen and also to sing along, but you're not going to code. So what is the solution? Actually, this is my solution. This is what I do. I prefer music without lyrics myself. Just some lofty beats like what you are using right now, because there is no words. And otherwise, sometimes even I didn't need silence. It's not a must you listen to any beat. Sometimes silence personally works for me. I don't know, Nandaa is going to say later what works for him. But sometimes silence works, but sometimes lofty beats also works because you're just there. You can put some maybe Java, coffee somewhere. Those lofty beats, they are good, but they don't have words. So find a balance. But when you listen to "I will never let her go" or something, you're going to write those those words there. So how do you deal with interruptions? Interruption is something that is going to happen to you most of the time. So how do you deal with it? Number one, we talked about you're going to be rude if at all you're in the zone. Someone comes and taps you. Can you help me with this? And you're in the zone, you're going to, hey, bro, Don't say I'm coding, man. Don't disturb me. So rudeness comes from the zone, and that's what we said we avoid. So what is the attitude? A professional attitude is that you have to be polite and willingness to help. I don't say that everyone can come in. Like you can have a schedule, maybe from 8 to 1, you're working on your personal code. Then from maybe 3, you have some people coming in. You can help them out. So yeah, you can schedule. You can be polite in a way. Can I help you at maybe after 10 minutes or so? Like I get finished with something, or 20 minutes. Yeah. So this is another thing when you're coding. There's something called code block. You're there, you're trying to code, but your mind's block. You cannot code anything. You're not feeling. You have been coding for quite some time and nothing is coming in. What do? Number one, find a peer partner, or rather, this peer programming. Find someone to code with, just to it can help you to get maybe out of the zone. Like we said, avoid the zone, and then you come back later. So it's a major thing that can help. Something else which can, these are something else which can cause your mentor to block when you are coding is if at all you don't have enough sleep. So you have to sleep well, about 6 hours. Yeah, about 6 at least for an adult, at least 5 to 6 hours. Yes, find time. We talked about the 160 hours. You have about you have 40 hours for the employee, you have 20 hours for you, and you have 58 hours for sleep. So you have about 6 hours. So sleep well, so that you cannot write buggy code. Something else is debugging time. There are some people who really think that when you're debugging, it is not, it's like taking a shortcut, or rather that time is not is not considered, but it is expensive to the business just as coding time is. So therefore, anything we can do to really diminish or avoid the debugging time, we have to put it into perspective. That we talked about writing code with tests, making sure that you have less and lesser debugging time so that you can have more time to really build stuff. So we have to avoid or diminish debugging time. This is someone running a marathon. He's called Samuel Wanjiro. He's late, but he was one of my neighbor back at home, immediate neighbor. So that's why I used this one. So why? Because coding is pacing yourself. Coding is a marathon. Yeah, coding is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not 100 meters. So you cannot win by trying to run as fast. So coding is not something that you're going to sprint for. So professional programmers conserve their energy and creativity with the same care. So for marathon runners, they really don't sprint when they start. Actually, some of these professional marathon runner like Kipchoge, and we are lucky enough to have these people in our country. They really teach us how you can relate to that to programming. They conserve their energy, and when they are going to finish, now they can start going faster and faster. So software development is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Pace yourself when you code. And know when to walk away. Sometimes things don't work. Know when to walk away. Someone is going to say, I'm not going to leave this desk until I finish. No, brother, just leave the desk. Sometimes it's good to know when to just walk away. Just walk away. You have this blockage, walk away, take a shower, watch maybe something small, read some tweets or something. But that is, you can interact, go to pair program. Yeah, sometimes you have to walk away. You get the solution that way. Sometimes when you sleep over things, tomorrow you have a solution and you just write code within 10 minutes and you find the solution why things are not working. And then talked about programming is hard. The younger you are, the less you believe this. When you are so young, we didn't I didn't want any help. I didn't need any help from people. But as you grow older, you know that yeah, coding is hard. I need some idea. Like, can you give me a fresh or rather another different perspective of all the same? So you're going to gain experience when you begin to realize that you have to combine those. You have to combine. There are so many things that you have to combine when you're programming. It's not just writing an if statement. If this does this, then else. There's something more. There's the whole aspect of writing some good. I'm interested more with the distributed systems because they are large. So you have to really know how to figure out all these things together, the security bit of it, how the APIs are efficient, everything together, and then bringing all these things together. You need some help. Sometimes you have to collaborate, and that we talked about the other time. And then today is going to be short. That's why they said merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup is the end.
Nice. Merci beaucoup is thank you.
Thank you so much. That is French.
So much.
Yeah.
But then you said you were doing some French also, I remember.
Yeah, je peux parler français.
Je m'appelle. I don't know what else. Anyway, but thanks so much. It's been really awesome. And yeah, today I think you, as I said, just take it slow. Actually, I was just comparing with like where we are at right now in terms of the whole book. Right now, you're done chapter 4, right?
Yes.
And now the next. So for those who are following, the next installment will be TDD, practicing acceptance testing, testing strategies, time management, estimation, pressure, collaboration. I don't know, maybe some of these things you combine them in terms like they look like thematic under a particular umbrella, like testing, acceptance and testing strategies could be one, right?
Exactly.
And then collaboration, teams and projects, again, those are collaborations, like ideas. And then I see like where it's touching on the craftsmanship book. So there's mentoring, apprenticeship, and craftsmanship. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, but I know now you have discussed a whole bit of that being in a whole book. So I'm just going to keep it and then direct them back to you.
Nice one. Yeah. So the guys who the folks who managed to join us, both boys and girls, thank you so much. And I don't want to hold you for long. I want to wish you a good night. And we'll see you next week, right?
You're going to answer them questions. If at all they had questions, next session you're going to answer them.
Yes. Thank you, Jonathan, for joining. Yeah, goodbye, guys. You. See you.
I've worn a t-shirt today written "Let beauty come out of ashes."
Nice.
Something good can come out of something which is not so appealing.
But yeah, I started doing some t-shirts. I would love to get some quotes and stuff. I started doing t-shirts for Blackboard.
Yeah, I can link you to someone. I can plug you.
Nice plug me. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah.
That was nice. Thank you so much.